Hi, fun recap here. Today, I'd be explaining an interesting Nigerian movie titled Soulmate. Have fun watching. The movie begins with a scene where we see a young girl arguing with a taxi driver because she didn't have money to pay him after he dropped her off her destination. A young guy who was passing by sees them and tried to go separate them, but the lady insults him instead, which got him really angry, and he tells the driver to collect his money before leaving. In the next scene, we see a young girl who was sewing with her brother, and she was sent to go and buy some few things they would need for the shop. But when she went out, she sees the lady and the driver arguing and asks what was happening. The lady explained her side of the story, and she decided to pay the bill for her with her brother's money. In return, the lady decided to stay with them and work for them because she didn't have anywhere to go. So she took her to her brother's shop. When her brother returned and saw the lady, he got really angry because it was the same lady who had insulted him earlier. He asked her to leave the shop immediately, but his younger sister explained the situation to him and got really upset that she used their money to pay for her. He called her disrespectful and told her he'd make sure he work. So she paid everything. Because she didn't have anywhere going, she had no choice than to stay humble and work for them. She was even grateful that she could stay in their house for the meantime while she worked for them, and accepted the offer. The young girl took her to their home and showed her around, but things seemed very strange to her because she was from a rich home. She was very happy to have a friend or a female she could talk to around. She asked her about her background, and she told the young girl that she was an orphan and lost both parents, and that her family members claimed all the properties after the parent died, and that's why she moved out. The little girl felt sorry for her and promised to help her. The next day at work, he asked her to clean shoes. She tried explaining to him that she didn't know how to do that, but he wouldn't listen and just told her to clean them. That since she was there to serve and pay her loan, she would have to do whatever he asked her, so she had no choice than to try her best. Even though she did her best, the shoes weren't still clean, so the little girl offered to help her. When lunch was served, it was tied in a rubber, and she didn't like it. Had no choice than to eat it like that because that was how foods were sold there, and she didn't have money to afford a better one. When they closed, she was asked to stay back and do extra work. The young girl tried pleading on her behalf, but her brother didn't care how tired she was. As far as he was concerned, she was disrespectful and had to pay her loan, and she also had no choice than to obey. That night, the young girl tried telling her brother to take it easy on her and get to know her because she was a nice and good person, but he refused and said she was even angry with her for bringing her into their home in the first place. The next day, she tried resting a bit before returning to work because she was tired from too much work the previous day, but he poured water on her and asked her to leave for work immediately, and that she wasn't there to rest. That day at work, he sent her on an errand to the market, even though she didn't know the place. He claimed she was supposed to go, so she had no choice than to go and buy the thing herself. She struggled to locate the market, which took hours. They waited from morning till night, and she was still not returning, which made them panic and decided to go look for her. But before they would step out, she returned and told them how she struggled to locate the market and also to find her way back. But they were relieved that at least she was finally back and that nothing bad happened to her. The next day, the young girl was going to wash, and she was surprised when she learned she wasn't going to use the washing machine by her hands, because she never knew there were actually people who use their hands to wash. Her brother soon appeared in anger, cutting their conversation short, and asked her to also go wash dishes in the kitchen. As time went by, the young girl taught her more things she needed to know about shoemaking, even in her brother's absence, which made her really happy, and also they got very close. Her brother, on the other hand, kept giving her cold attitude because he thought he was proud and arrogant. He later gave her some money for her to use to prepare food for them, which she did, and that night they all had dinner together like a happy family. And even though she learned how to make the food from YouTube, they enjoyed it. For the first time, he had a one-on-one talk with her and told her he was sorry for the way he treated her. She also told him her story and why she was gallivanting around aimlessly that day, and that she insulted him out of anger and was intentional. She also apologized, and they became friends after that. They got along better at the shop and home as well. He even opened up to her about his struggles to raise money for her sister's school fees, and she tells him that he shouldn't worry, that everything was going to be fine. The next day, they were laughing and having a nice conversation outside when a young girl appeared and offered them a loan that he could pay in installments when he had the money. The lady encouraged him to take it and later told him he had told him not to worry, that God will handle everything. And he also believed that it was a miracle that had happened, and also very happy that he had finally gotten the money to pay his sister's school fees. In the next scene, we see them preparing for work when a lady appeared from nowhere claiming to be his girlfriend and that he had missed him so much. His assistants had no choice than to leave them alone and go to the shop alone. The little girl didn't like her and argued with her most of the time because she saw her as an opportunist who only appeared when he needed money from the brother and not because she loved him. The next scene, we see them playing a game together which annoyed his girlfriend after seeing them because she was very jealous. The next day, she wanted the lady to stay clear of her boyfriend and she told her she didn't even have plans of coming between them in the first place, and that she had nothing to worry about. She argued with her boyfriend most of the time too for refusing to throw the lady out of their house. She never helped the work in the house, and whenever she go to the shop, she only sits around with her phone, which annoyed the little girl. Even her brother started complaining at a point, and the only excuse she had was that she couldn't use her hands because of her long nails. One day, the young girl making a call with another man she was having an affair with and informed her brother. He caught her in the act and heard everything she was saying on the phone, so she had no way of defending herself. Apparently, that wasn't the first time he had caught her cheating on him, so he broke up with her immediately and threw her out of his house. Things went back to normal and the young girl was so happy when the lady returned to the shop to work with them again. She later encouraged her brother to propose relationship to the lady because she knew he liked her and believed she liked him too. That night, he told her how he felt about her and she accepted to be his girlfriend. But just then, her father, who was one of the richest politicians in their country, appeared from nowhere and took his daughter home. He also told the man that his daughter was already married. When his sister returned, he told her what had happened and she also felt very disappointed at her for lying to them. Even though his feelings were hurt, he decided to forget about her and continue with their life. At the lady's house, her househelp went to apologize to her and beg for her forgiveness that her dad was threatening her, so she had no choice than to tell him her location. That's why she did it. Her father was forcing her to marry one of his friends because of business partnership, and she didn't want to marry an old person, and that was why she ran from home. The next day, the househelp went to the guy's house to explain things to him. He also recognized her to be the same lady who gave her loan some time ago. She told him that it was her madam that asked her to bring the money and what to say, and also pretend to be someone who was offering loans. She told him that she was being forced to marry someone she didn't like, and that was why she ran from him. She explained the whole situation to him and he understood, and that he really needed the help because the father was going to marry her off that day and she was afraid of what could happen. So she begged him to come with him and do something about it. The next day, he went to see the girl's father to talk to him about the situation, but the man just thanked him for taking care of his daughter when he wasn't around and started sacking him to leave his house. Just then, the help appeared and told them the madam was hurt, so they quickly rushed inside to go see her. When they went, she was lying unconscious and bleeding, so they called a doctor to help clean her wounds, after which she lay down to rest. She was also happy to see the guy again and apologized to him for lying. Her father later appeared and told her he had cancelled the wedding because he couldn't stand losing her daughter because of business partnership. He also apologized for forcing marriage on her and begged her never to take her life in that manner again or try such a thing again because she really scared her. Even though she was surprised her father actually cancelled the wedding, she was very happy and relieved and thanked him for making such a decision for her sake. Her dad also said he would allow her marry the young guy if she liked him and wanted to be with him because he could tell he was a very good person, which made her very happy. She later visited them and the little girl was so happy to see her again because she really missed her. She also explained things to her brother and they settled their issues and decided to be together. Soulmates, the end. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. If you like this video, kindly give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos like this. See you on the next episode.